Hello everyone. I can't believe it's finally time to make this video, but I realized that I haven't really done a spring favorites haul for 2022. So here we are. It's already the 9th of April. This year has gone by so quickly. And I think on my own personal path, whenever I do these videos, I always like to share a little bit about kind of where I am on my own path, because that definitely affects the decks that end up getting worked with when it comes to any given season. So definitely in my own path, there's been a sense of really needing to get back to authentic ritual. And for me, that does always involve working really elementally. I'm someone who's just always found working with the elements to be something that's really sustaining for my soul, and that feels really authentic and appropriate and right for me. So I've definitely been feeling that call. And also definitely having just taught the Weaving Maiden and Crone workshop, I've really been trying to tap into working with maiden energy for myself, because it's not the energy I'm the most comfortable with out of that triumvirate of the goddess energy, but looking at it as a way in which to bring a sense of independence and adventure, and like awareness of being in the present moment on my path. I think connecting a little bit with Artemis, especially over the last moon cycle, has helped me to start to see that I can experience that energy even if I feel really bogged down and overwhelmed by daily responsibilities or daily scheduling. So that's been something that's been really poignant for me on my path, and it's definitely affected the decks that are on this list. So that being said, if you're currently feeling a sense of weight, or a sense of being stuck on your path, or maybe heaviness is a better word than weight there to use on your path, I would definitely say, breathing in the energy of Artemis and Astara as we move through this spring cycle, maybe something that feels like a balm to your soul. And these decks are in alignment with that for me currently. So let's get right into it and talk about them. 3 of these decks are new, and I did just post a video on them earlier in the week, but I am really enjoying getting to know them, and so I feel like they have to be on this list. Also, I did receive a deck in the mail today that I've been waiting for a little while, and so I will be posting an unboxing of that kind of adjacent to this video. And if I enjoy that deck, that will be a part of my spring focus for decks, but I don't know yet because I haven't opened it, so I'm going to do that with you guys. Let's see. Okay, so I want to start with, I have everybody laid out in front of me. Let's have a sip of tea first. I'm recording this on Saturday morning, and I just feel like being a little bit chatty and taking my time with you guys. So let's have a sip of tea. Oh, I should say, like, music-wise too, I have been listening to like old school hip hop, and just an inordinate amount of deathcore. It's been like, not like, I can't stop myself. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see when I do I kind of try to do like a daily story just to let everybody know what's going on for the YouTube channel, and just kind of share little bits of my life. And I've been doing a lot of deathcore music in my stories. There's something about getting in touch. This is another piece I wanted to say too. There's something about getting in touch with our anger in a healthy way that feels really good. So I have been working with Artemis. I can personally feel a shift, largely because of my music, into the energy of Kalima and Sekhmet and Mat. So I definitely can feel that moving more into the energy of spring this year for me, and feeling a real sense of beauty there. I've also been listening to, well, I love Chelsea Wolfe, as you guys know, always have, but I've been listening to a lot of Chelsea Wolfe and Emma Ruth Rundle. Yeah, really, really enjoying that. So anyhow, first deck on the list. That's a little update on where I'm at personally on my journey. First on the list is the Mini Ices Oracle. Okay, so one of my very wonderful special friends in tarot, I mean, she's a friend in general, but also in tarot too. Like, we really love tarot and oracle. She told me that she thought this would be a purchase that would be worth it for me. And she was absolutely right. I love the idea that it's a mini deck. I love that on the back is a small blessing that, you know, kind of consolidation of if you were working with the actual Isis Oracle by Alana Fairchild, you know, you would read the entire guidebook meaning, which would be a couple pages long. And this just sums up the card theme and feel really nicely in one paragraph. It's matte, it feels nice in the hands. I like to use it as a blessing for clients to kind of finish a reading as a message from Isis if I feel her energy with them. And personally for myself, it's been part of a daily devotional practice as I work. I'm just kind of gesturing because my altar to Isis is over there. As I work with her energy daily, it's been just part of my daily devotional practice to draw one of these and just kind of sit in her energy and allow that to, I'll go back to that word, sustain me through the spring of 2022. So this is the pocket size edition of the Isis Oracle by Alana Fairchild. If you're totally new to Alana's world, there is the original Isis Oracle by Alana Fairchild, which is a large edition. It's beautiful and it's wonderful. This isn't meant to replace that. This is more the travel version of that, and also the kind of a bite-sized blessing version from Isis. Never mind the fact that, I forgot to show you guys the artwork. The artwork is just to die for. Jimmy Manton just outdid himself with this deck. I don't care what anyone else says. I will love this deck for the rest of my life. I will use this deck for the rest of my life. But here's an example of some of the artwork. Really, really beautiful. It's about to rain here, so I apologize if the lighting is shifting as I'm chatting. So this is the pocket size edition or the mini Isis Oracle. Really, 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 really loving that. Okay, sip of tea. I know some of you guys are giggling and laughing, but I'm not gonna lie, these are the actual decks that I'm using. I've been using Oracle of the Seven Energies by Colette Baron-Reid. And you know, guys, sometimes she just doesn't, sometimes she knocks it out of the park, sometimes she misses the mark. I did not really resonate very much with this deck when I first purchased it, but I just did a video, I believe it was yesterday, on working with this deck with the Murder of Crows Tarot, and oh my goodness, the accuracy, the clarity of the messages in this deck really started to shine for me in a new way. And so I've actually really been enjoying working with this deck. I'm not gonna lie, I've really been enjoying it. It's on my list because it's actually, I've been using it in daily draws with the Murder of Crows Tarot. It really provides very succinct clarity on your tarot draw. So this is the Oracle of the Seven Energies by Colette Baron-Reid. And I've really been enjoying that. Love the matte feel. The card backing is not my favorite, but guys, you know I'm darkly inclined. I like dark artwork. I prefer more moody backgrounds anyhow. So, you know, Colette and I are not on the same page with our aesthetic, but as far as the energy of that deck, and I feel this with most of her decks, I have to say, I don't always resonate with the artwork, but the ability of the Oracle deck to act as a clarifier is really powerful. And I have to say, as much as I don't necessarily want to after my scathing unboxing of this deck, I do think this is another one in her roster that provides really powerful clarification. So this is the White Owl Mystic Arcana box, which, oh my God, you guys, I've had so much fun since I posted that Phoenix and Lotus unboxing early last week, because a lot of you were like, Racine, we've known about her shop forever and we love her. And I'm like, I know, but I didn't. And I guess I just missed, like, if someone had ever sent me a link, I missed it. I just, really quick shout out again to Phoenix and Lotus. This is where I purchased the 3 newer decks that are on this list. I really freaking love her shop. I know I was late to the game, but I did also like want to share authentically that, like, here's this really cool shop. So I'll put the link to her shop below, but this is where I purchased the White Owl Mystic Arcana or Arcana Oracle deck, however you'd like to say that. I'm so smitten with this deck, okay? Like, let's be honest. If this deck was a person, you know, they would be 6'2" and just dressed exceedingly deliciously, and I would be having a really great conversation with them over an impeccable Hendrick's gin and tonic. Like, I am so smitten with this deck. I have such a crush on this deck right now. I've been using it in client readings. I've been using it for myself. I I'm really smitten with this deck. So I even, like I said, I even have the box right here, and it just makes me happy every time because I do readings here at this desk as well. So every time I look over, I'm like, oh my God, I love you so much. We're like having we're in our honeymoon period together, and it's so good. You guys know when it's like that with a deck where you're like, I can't get enough of you. Kind of want to sleep with you under my pillow. Kind of want to, carry you in your carry bag in my purse when I go out to do errands. Like, we're just having so much fun together. So this deck is that deck for me. And so I can't really be unbiased because I'm so smitten with it, but I really like this deck for, because it does have astrology within it as well. It's nice to use in readings if I'm clarifying a specific area of an individual's life. The astrological cards and the energy of the moons like really help me to hone in on, are they dealing with, say in this case, a Sagittarius, right? Or, is Cancerian energy showing up? Or are they themselves a Libra? And so this lets me know this is an important and significant area in their life. The cardstock is not my favorite, I won't lie to you, but I love the deck so much that I don't care if the cardstock isn't perfect. Look at this. I really am enjoying the imagery. And you guys know I don't usually like borders, don't care, love this deck, just absolutely smitten with it. But anyhow, so in a reading, I found it a very nice clarifier for letting me know about people or individuals or the person I'm reading for. And personally for myself, number one, I just enjoy looking at the deck. Sometimes we have those decks where like, you just love looking at it. It just makes you feel better. It's enjoyable to have it in your hands and to shuffle it and to just be near it, right? So that's definitely a part of the puzzle. But I think for me, really getting back more into ritual aspect of my craft over the last, it's been about a year now that I've really felt that call. But especially over the last 7 months, I like that I have the moons in here. I like the artwork representation. I like that I have the elements in here. And so really I'm not using it necessarily for daily draws. It's more in ritual work for me and on my altar. So this is the White Owl Mystic Arcana deck. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you that the cardstock is amazing. It's not. But I actually like the backing, which is like, who even am I right now? Like, well, I don't know why I love this deck so much. I just do. There are no words. Let's go back to a tried and true Racine deck so that we all don't, barf in our mouths right now. Anyhow, I'm just joking. Darkwood Tarot. Don't we all love this deck? Like, if you love this deck, you know. She's ride or die. She's not going anywhere. We need to just be in love, and we are. But this is the kind of love, this is more of a sustaining love than cocktails with my 6'2" delicious hipster guy at the bar. That is the White Owl Mystic Arcana. Let's be real. Yeah, this deck is definitely more of a ride or die sustaining deck. It's very good. It holds a space for shadow work, but it doesn't need to just be shadow work. And this deck is very honest. It's very accurate in readings for clients and for myself. No holds barred, straight shooter, and it's just beautiful to look at. I love, I talk a lot about if you spend any kind of time with me, that everything has like, I hate the word vibration, but I hear things as like a hum when I hear them. And this deck has such a pleasant hum to me on my altar. I usually keep her upstairs. So currently she's on my altar to Isis in my personal practice at this point in time. But the hum just feels really comforting to me. So Darkwood Tarot is on the list because I love her. And I took a little break from her and I missed her. It's like, I miss you, Darkwood. So this is the Darkwood Tarot. I love this Two of Cups. It's one of my favorite representations of the Two of Cups. It's really, really beautiful. So that was Darkwood Tarot. Let's see where we are on our list. Okay, so I am going to show you the 5-cent tarot now, which is part of that, was part of that Phoenix and Lotus purchase. So this is the backing, but I really freaking I love this deck. This deck is like jazz music. It's like, you are so cool. And I'm not quite cool enough to be in your presence, but I'm going to try really hard to come across like I am as cool as you. That's what this deck feels like to me. I really, really enjoy the energy. And like I said in the unbox, well, it wasn't an unboxing, it was more of a reveal, but I like that there are no people. I like it's completely against the grain for what I typically go for in a deck. And I really love that. I'm at a point in my practice where, you know, you've got to mix it up sometimes. You've got to bring in something fresh, and that's actually a positive thing. It's not a negative. And this is definitely that deck that's kind of mixing it up a little bit for me, getting me back to my roots, but it's in fresh artwork format for me. And it's not my typical deck. And so I'm really, really enjoying this. And many of you said in that posting and that video as well in the comments that you guys love this deck too. So, and that's actually a male who's created the deck, not a female, which it's not, you know, either way, I love the deck. I think it was amazingly created. It's a gorgeous deck. It's really unique while being very accessible. So if you are new to tarot, I think this is a deck that you could get and work with and really enjoy. So that's the 5-cent tarot. Just while I'm here, I'm going to do the Luminous Void because this was the third deck that I purchased in that little haul. You know, sometimes when you're having a bad night and then you end up buying some decks, and that's just it. You bought decks and that's final. That was one of those nights for me. So here is the Luminous Void Tarot. The cardstock is the sexiest cardstock. It's like the Witch's Tarot for me. I could just, and True Black. Yeah, it's like the best experience for me when I get to shuffle these decks. And they're so, what I love about indie decks, self-produced decks, is that you get to have such an, and I'm not saying you don't have this with mass-produced decks, so please don't think that I'm knocking mass-produced decks, but you know, you've invested a little bit more and you are really a caretaker of that deck in an indie deck. I think you kind of approach it in a different way. And even just like the sumptuousness of the cards and the way they feel for me right now, it's like, oh, I just want to take care of this baby, right? And like really, really treat it well and just enjoy. It becomes a very sensual experience working with a deck where the cardstock just feels good to you. And I think that's why a lot of us who collect decks end up talking about that. But I digress. I'm just blabbing about cardstock because I'm obsessed with this cardstock. The feel of this deck is very maiden energy to me. It's very air element. This is another deck that's outside of my comfort zone with reading. And again, I'm feeling this need to bring in this kind of freshness for myself and mix things up and allow myself to have new experiences within my very comforting, powerful personal practice. And this is one that's like going to shake it up for me, but still has the structure that I love and adore. Like this is very clearly the Six of Swords, right? Even though you're expressing it, you're experiencing it in a little bit of a different way. So yeah. So this is the Luminous Void Tarot. It's absolutely lovely. And I won't even lie, a large part of why I ended up purchasing it is this beautiful kind of carmine color with the lovely gold gilding. It's just beautiful, right? And I like the shape. I like that the shape is different. So that's the Luminous Void. These last three decks that I'm going to talk about, I have been using a great deal. I think I just grabbed this one, so I guess that's what we're going to go with. This is the Mystical Moments Tarot. Guys, I gotta say, like, this ended up in my top 5. I'm currently reading with reversals with it, guys. So I don't usually read reversals, as y'all know. But yeah, I am. I've been using reversals with this one. It's felt right for me. So let's talk about mystical moments. I love to tell a good story with the cards. I think you guys can see that whenever I do demonstration spreads for you on the channel. And if you've had a reading with me, you know I love to tell a story with the cards. This deck, oh my God, the artwork is so perfect for storytelling. So, so, so perfect. And you really get a feel for the theme of the individual if I'm reading for someone else, or for myself personally, if I'm pulling for myself as well. You really get a feel for the theme. And here's the thing that I really love about this deck. You know, sometimes you get that feel for the theme, and it can be a little bit like Murder of Crows, where it's very concise and to the point and sharp. This deck gives you the theme and the feel, but it's very loving. Maybe loving's not the right word, because I feel like it's like compassionate. It's like Kuan Yin, but it's not rose quartz Kuan Yin. It's the Kuan Yin that understands there's a reason behind every story, right? And so I really feel that with this deck. You get a sense of powerful storytelling, but also, I love this. This is also one of my favorite star images ever. Can we just for a moment? Yeah. But there's an understanding and a sense of awareness of understanding the root in each and every individual in the story, right? And like, there's a reason why that root is manifesting the way it is, whether it's a wonderful manifestation or it's something that feels uncomfortable or yucky, you know? So yeah, this is Mystical Moments, and I'm really, really in love with this deck. If White Owl is my date deck for this spring of 2022, and Darkwood is my ride or die and my sustaining love, my older gentleman that's always going to be there for me when I need him. I think Mystical Moments is like your best friend that you've got to go have a glass of Prosecco with and wear a fabulous pair of heels, but you can still walk comfortably in them. And just, you know, sitting on like overstuffed leather couches and just talking for hours, or a vegan option if you prefer that. So yeah, this deck is like that for me. She's like my best friend, and we're just gonna sit down and chat for hours and hours and hours. Like I when I start a spread with her, it's hard to stop. I could keep reading and reading and reading for the client or for myself, or just telling a story with the cards. So that's Mystical Moments. We're last two, guys. These are my top two. Murder of Crows Tarot. You guys know I've been insanely in love with this deck. This is like, I'd probably marry this deck. I love this. Is like Spring Tarot Decks Dating Edition with Racine. I would marry Murder of Crows. Murder of Crows, guys, is like, fucks with your head in a good way. Like this deck, I can't even tell you like the awarenesses I've accessed about myself and like root conditioning through this deck has just been insane. This deck is, I'm so glad that that you guys were like, you got to get this deck, Racine. So I was really sad that I wasn't able to get the very special edition, the limited edition. And then I, you know, sometimes you feel like I couldn't afford it and I lost that chance. And is the mass produced one going to be the same? This deck is insane. I fucking love this deck so much. It's my relationship with it has really, really been growing. It's like 100% spot on divination wise, like foretelling. This deck is like, look at that. You drew that card this morning and it happened exactly like you would expect it to. It's that way, but it also gets down into the root. And the guidebook, while small, has some really fascinating prompts in it that definitely makes it like, oh, I gotta sit with this pull. I'm not just gonna pull a card and then get up and go about my day. I gotta sit with this for a few minutes. So this is the Murder of Crows Tarot. And largely been using it personally for myself. I'm kind of like keeping this one a little close to the chest right now. So I have not been using it in readings as much. Okay. Now, the full edition of the Witch's Tarot. So I did a reveal when this first came out. I have absolutely fallen in love with the Majors Only Witch's Tarot. I use it in readings for people a great deal, far more than I ever thought I would. And I was really stoked when he created the full edition of this deck. Well, over the last 2 months, I've been called to use it a little bit more in readings, the full edition, as opposed to just the majors, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm starting to understand some of the imagery he chose. And as I said about the Luminous Void, this deck just feels good to use. I love the artwork. I love the backings. It's delicious, it's opulent, it's a very sexy deck. It's very much sacred feminine aligned. The photography gives you an opportunity to have a fresh jumping off point in regards to your meditation and your work. I love everything about this deck, but what's really made me want to work with it more than normal, I love that image so much, is just as I'm discovering the deck's voice, and it really took a little bit to get this one's voice this time as a whole, not just the majors, but the entire story that's now being told through these cards. And it's very Hecate for me. This deck is totally Hecate energy, and I resonate with it and have built with it much the same that my relationship with her has grown over the years. I should have said at the beginning when I started pulling from this deck that there was nudity. I apologize. There is artistic nudity in this deck. So this is the Witch's Tarot by Burning Paper Hearts. I'm really having fun with this. Let's see, how would we describe this, since we're going on with a spring date theme here? How would we describe the Witch's Tarot? The Witch's Tarot is like, okay, the Witch's Tarot is like the most gorgeous woman in the room dressed in black who's probably drinking bourbon. And you're really like, you feel you've got some insecurity about approaching her, but once you start talking to her, you realize that she's supremely intelligent and fascinating, excuse me. And you're really hanging out with her because you want to talk to her, not just because she has the best outfit in the room. That's what this deck is. So this is the Witch's Tarot by Burning Paper Hearts. This is the complete edition. There is a majors only edition as well. And I love that one too. And I use that one a great deal, but I'm really enjoying working with this deck as a whole. So yeah, guys, if you've made it 26 minutes, thank you. This is my list. I am so just reinvigorated with tarot, and it's still been really cold and dreary here, and it's been very rainy for the last few days here in New Hampshire, but I can slowly feel us moving into the energy of spring, and it finally feels like we're there, and I'm just so grateful. It was a very long winter. And I'm sure many of you felt that as well, a very solitary, long winter, of which I am glad to now be in the maiden energy of spring for sure. So I hope you are doing well out there. Let me know what decks you guys are using in the comments below. I am sending you, as always, much love and many blessings, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.